Okay, guys, today's date is February 5th, 2019. My name is Lauro Herrera, and I'm an insurance agent as well as the senior trainer here. And I want to welcome you guys to our opportunity webinar for our 9 o'clock hour. I apologize that we started a little bit late. Yeah, sometimes people, you tell them 9 a.m. and they show up at 9:45, right? But today we wanted to give a little bit of time to some of these guys to get on here, but it never fails. So, Paul, thank you for being on time. Shane, thank you for being on time. So with that said, before we get into our opportunity webinar, let's get to know each other just a little bit better. Mr. Paul, let's go ahead and start with you. We've been friends on Facebook. I don't know how long, but I know we've been on Facebook, and that's kind of your first point of contact with us. Why are you here this morning, sir? I know we've played a lot of phone tag over the course of the last few weeks, but why are you here today?
I used to work for a company that ran television ads, and I would have to run them down, and I would have to drive 2.5 hours each way. So to visit one client, I'd spend 5 hours of driving, plus whatever time I spent in front of them. That made for a really long day. And a lot of what I was selling were annuities and estate planning, and was virtually impossible to accomplish on one call, one visit. So
yeah, I understand. Completely.
All that windshield time gets old real quick.
It does, for sure. In fact, that's what I was talking about today on Facebook. One of my videos, I was talking about efficiency. Sales is a numbers game, right? And, there's no way around it. And then it becomes logistics. And you're right on the money with that. Well, thank you for that, Paul. How about you, Shane? Talk to us a little bit about you. I know that you sent me an email, but how did you find out about us? How did you end up on this call this morning, sir?
Can you hear me?
I can, Shane.
Okay. Well, actually, I found out about you on YouTube.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah, I was actually researching a couple other companies, final expense companies, and I came across and I started watching yours. And after watching them all, it just sounded like you had the best setup. Like I said in my letter, I've done this before, successfully, and do it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just a few years ago, I had some personal family issues that I had to deal with, and I kind of got out of it. And now I'm looking, I'm on the road a lot now. I want to get off the road, and I want to get back into it. And it looks like, you got the best setup for that.
Well, I appreciate that, but I will tell you there's nothing perfect in this world, right?
Yeah.
But we strive every day towards perfection, but we know it's never going to happen, right? But we strive for that perfection. Well, great, guys. Once again, my name is Lauro Herrera, and I'm an insurance agent. Final expense man, 15 years this year. And I've never, ever sold nothing else other than final expense. And with that said, guys, welcome to virtual final expense sales. This is really the future of final expense in my book. And one of the things that we do, if you guys can see my screen here, is that we train people by leading from the front. Okay, our leadership style is real easy. Anybody that plays a role in our leadership team here has to be able to sell. Okay, this is not a multi-level marketing opportunity. This is not a recruiting culture. It's not. It's based on selling and showing folks how to make a solid 6-figure income from the comfort of their own home office. This is that opportunity. But one of the biggest things is that all of our trainers, we are documented agents. And I think that's very powerful because a lot of people today, they don't believe in that. They sell for a couple years and then they're getting out of that and they want to hire and fire and they become the gurus, right? But listen to this. During your training with our program, you're going to learn how to create an unforgettable experience with your client over the phone using modern day technology like video, but you're going to combine it with an old-fashioned customer service mentality. Everybody wants the best customer service, but nobody knows exactly what that means these days because everybody's gung-ho about a new sale. Well, we focus on customer service, but we're also using all of the technology available to us to contact, to reach, and to make a pitch with our client. You guys notice here that in order for you to become a master at final expense virtual, you not only need to understand the psychology of how clients buy funeral insurance, gentlemen, but you also have to have a full understanding of how to listen to your client's objections in order to handle them every single time. Now, we have developed a proprietary strategy to selling final expense. Okay, we've been doing this for a long time. And with that experience, we were able to build a pattern by doing it thousands of times over and over and over. And through that pattern, we were able to find new ways to close deals, new ways to deal with distraction, new ways to get to the end of the presentation. Because the number one goal is to complete a whole presentation, whether you're a door knocker or you're a phone guy or you're a virtual guy. Well, that experience took us a long time to do. And if you guys see here in front of you, I started my career with a great company, the number one final expense carrier in the nation by the name of Lincoln Heritage. I began there as a door-to-door final expense salesman. I did very well with them. And shortly after I started, I began to build an organization. And if you can see here, when I walked away in 2010, I was number one. I helped my upline agency, Golden Memorial, with their success by hiring great people to the organization and training them how to door knock and how to be successful as a door knocker. That was my beginning. And when I walked away in good standing from Lincoln Heritage in 2010, Lincoln Heritage provided me a nice little letter. And understand this, guys, at the time, I am in my early 30s. I'm about 31 years of age. Look at the date here. March 31st, 2010. And I'm going to read this to you guys because a lot of insurance agents these days have never really had a residual income. Never. They don't show it off. They're not happy about it. I never see it. And that's because I believe a lot of agents jump around from carrier to carrier and opportunity to opportunity, and they never do anything. This opportunity for these 25 trainee agents, I provide you with day one vesting. So every single policy that you write from here on out, and one day down the road you decide that you want to part ways for whatever reason, then what are we going to do? We're going to let you keep your business, all those apps. And this is deferred commissions. And I'm going to read this to you, okay, because this is the end game for you guys building a block of business. This is the end game for all of us selling insurance. So listen, dear Mr. Herrera, following is information regarding the deferred commissions from your accounts with us. Deferred commissions are projections of money that are paid as they are earned. We have two types of deferred commissions. First are the deferred first-year commissions. This is money that can be earned over the next 12 months during the first year the policy is in force. The deferred first-year commissions for you are $360,000, and this would average out to $30,000 per month over the next 12 months. The second kind of deferred commissions are the deferred renewal commissions. These commissions are what can be paid over the next 10 years on business paying in its second through 10th year. Your deferred renewal commissions are $1.3 million. This would average out to $11,500 per month over the next 120 months. Deferred commissions have nothing to do with future business written. These will be paid whether or not another piece of business is written, so as long as the premiums are paid. The deferred commissions noted above do not take into account the renewal commissions after 10 years, commonly referred to as service fees. We appreciate all your efforts over the almost 6 years you've been with us. Keep up the excellent work. Sincerely, Norman Beezer, Vice President of Lincoln Heritage. So think about this, gentlemen. At the age of 31, I was walking away from Lincoln Heritage on good terms with a few $1 million in my pocket, owed to me, and I was moving on to my new opportunity. This right here was the first check that I got once my account cleared. And after that, I moved on with Senior Life Insurance Company. I credit Senior Life Insurance Company for showing me how to sell over the phone and giving me a direct contract directly to the carrier. And that's what they did for me. And I always say this, that because I had such a great success as a field agent, when I came over to Senior Life, it took me about 3 years to really wrap my mind around telephone sales. 3 years. And it's funny because I was learning directly from the owners of the carrier, the guys that had pioneered telephone sales. So it wasn't like I had questioned them. It's just I had certain misconceptions, myths, barriers that I myself was hurting myself. But what happened? I kept on pursuing it daily, through trial and error, And what I realized is that by doing it myself as a leader and having success on the phone, all of these myths, like people won't give you the banking information, people don't provide you the social, you can't establish the right kind of trust on the phone, all of that was myths. And I became a top producer. Within 6 months of being at Senior Life, my group was number 3. Within 24 months, we were at double-digit growth, and we were number 1 for Senior Life Insurance Company. But I wasn't able to accomplish that success, gentlemen, without the guidance and constructive criticism of the owners of that carrier. And sometimes we all want to succeed, but nobody wants to receive constructive criticism. Everybody's oversensitive. Well, I believe that that's one of the biggest reasons people fail. They don't look in the mirror, and they don't own their mistakes, and they don't improve where they need to. And this opportunity, if we decide to work with you, understand we're going to give you constructive criticism. Why? Because we want you guys to be the best. So I just shared with you guys my documentation. In fact, from Senior Life Insurance, I get paid a 5-figure monthly check every month. I'm still able to log into my back office with Senior Life, as you guys can see. I haven't written a single policy for Senior Life in over 2 years. And this week, today or tomorrow, this week by the 7th or 8th, you guys can see the pattern between the 6th and the 8th, I'm going to get a thank you check from Senior Life. And this was last month. This is one of my agent numbers. And look at the amount of cash that's paying right there from one of my numbers. Please note, I have not written a single policy for Senior Life in over 2 years. And I got about 5 agent numbers over there. And look at this one. This is my biggest check right here. This is the name of the game. Eventually, we're all going to retire. Eventually, we're going to want to maybe go on a long-term vacation. And that residual income, that passive income, is what makes the difference. So now, today, our goal here, because you guys are a licensed agent, you guys provided all the documentation to do this. Today, we're going to get on the phones and we're going to go to work, okay? The idea is to show you guys a complete sales cycle, okay, from start to finish. You'll notice that we have a sales cycle that is designed specifically for this product, so there's no shooting from the hip. We got a complete script that we train our agents on, so there's no guesswork or thinking of what to say. All of that has been predetermined. Our script is inside of our CRM, so even though you got the script memorized, the script will always be there in front of you. And one of the biggest factors that we train our agents on, other than dealing with objections, distractions, and closing skills, is fluency, gentlemen. The key to having extreme success over the phone is being able to have fluency. Okay? And I'm going to read this to you guys. Why is fluency so important? Listen to this. Reading and speaking in such a manner that your words and thoughts flow smoothly. When delivery is fluent, speech is not jerky or painfully slow, and there is no stumbling over words or groping for thoughts. A lot of people that are in sales, the reason they fail on the phone is because when they get on the phone with the client, they sound like an amateur. And listen to this. When a speaker lacks fluency, the minds of the listeners may wander. Wrong ideas may be conveyed, and what is said may lack persuasiveness. Now, when reading aloud, ask yourself, do you stumble over certain expressions? Or when you get in front of an audience to give a talk, do you find that you often grope for the right words? Because if so, you have a problem with fluency. A fluent person reads and speaks in such a manner that words and thoughts flow smoothly with apparent ease. So guys, one of the biggest factors why people fail over the phone is because they're not fluent, and they get on the phone and they start doing you, e, ah, ooh, and they don't even know how to talk, because their flow of their thought is all over the place. They don't have a structured setup to follow. And over the phone, when people hear you hesitate, when people hear you groping for words, when people hear you using crutches, it creates fear. And no matter how good of a presentation you do, guess what's going to happen with the client? They're going to put you off, and you're not going to have success. That's why people struggle on the phone. That's why agents, when they pick up the phone, they get really nervous, and they'd rather just drive 5 hours, because they feel that if they show up in person, they're going to be able to get past their speech impediments or their lack of vocabulary. And that's a fact. So one of our core secrets is showing our agents fluency, which is very important. Second of all, legalities, okay? There's so many agents in today's marketplace that pick up the phone and they are violating the National Do Not Call Registry. And listen to what this says. You guys can see this. Our program is 100% compliant with the law that governs the phone sales as well as wireless sales. Okay? But listen to this. The law requires telemarketers to search the registry every 31 days and avoid calling any phone number on the registry. If you receive telemarketing calls after your telephone number has been in the registry for 31 days, you can file a complaint at the donotcall.gov or by calling toll-free at the number here. You need to know the date of the call and the company's name or phone number to file a do not call complaint. A telemarketer who disregards the National Do Not Call Registry can be fined up to $41,000 per violation. So guys, when you work with me, we will give you fresh leads, 100 to 200 leads out the gates. We will give you the origination of that fresh lead. So if the lead is generated today, the law states that I do not have to check the registry for 90 days because Miss Betty asked for me to call her back. So even if Miss Betty is on the do not call registry, then, I mean, even if she is on the do not call registry, guys, but because she asked for this, it doesn't matter. But think about how many insurance agents today are calling on leads that are old, or they don't even know the origination date of their product, and they're violating the guidelines. I mean, there's so many agents that are doing this that it's so scary. And it's not if they get caught, it's when they get caught. So with our program, we're going to make sure that as a company, we always have a safe harbor defense. What that means is that as a company, we have procedures, we have training to make sure that each and every one of us is following the rules that govern the phones. So in our CRM, you guys are going to notice that we have a 90-day verification as well as the birth date of that lead, because we got 90 days. On day 91 of that lead, we will have to check the do not call registry to make sure that that lead is not on that list and we don't violate the law. And really ask yourself, Paul and Shane, you guys, whether you're in the field or the phone, when was the last time you checked the do not call registry? Paul, when was that? How about you, Shane? When was that? You want to unmute your line? I would love to hear that from you guys. If you guys are calling, if you're calling your leads, think about that. How about you, Shane? When was the last time you got a set of leads to sell insurance and you checked the birthday of the lead and also the do not call registry before you called to make an appointment?
Never.
Think about that. Isn't that scary? Never.
Yeah.
And what's sad is that a lot of people in the agency business, they're telling their agents that are door knockers to pick up the phone, to set up appointments, and no one is looking at what the law states. Well, with us, we train every single one on the law. So if anytime any one of us was to get a complaint from the FCC as a company, we're going to be able to take on a safe harbor defense and prove to the judge that we are in compliance from our training to the way we do our business. Now, if you as a trainee, you get lazy and you don't input the data into your CRM of when this expires and you get a complaint, guess who's going to be paying for that? Take a wild guess. Is it going to be my company, or is it going to be you for not following through on your responsibility that has to do with law? It's going to be on you guys, not on us. Okay, a lot of people don't recognize that when the FCC comes down on you, they sue the agent, they sue the IMO, and then the carrier gets also a complaint. That's the way it works. So if you guys don't do your job and it comes to me, my lawyers are going to send a notice to the judge or the FCC stating how we do our business, and we'll wash our hands right there, and you have an issue. But I share this with you guys not to scare you. I share this because this is the right thing to do if you're in this business. And I know a lot of people in the agency business, they're not training their people right. Okay? Another thing, our setup and our training is designed to basically elevate your skill set and help you with your learning curve. So if you notice here, the playbook is like a business plan. We cover everything in this playbook. This test is designed to make sure that you got this down, because we know if you can pass this test, which covers our script, our strategies, our legalities, our leads, then you will be able to start engaging in business immediately. If you can't pass this at 100%, then we're just going to go ahead and keep working with you until you pass your exam, and then you're able to work. And finally, guys, our culture is a follow-up culture. Okay, I give you 100 to 200 fresh leads on day one. Man, that's amazing. You're happy. You're dialing away. You're calling appointments that set up appointments with you. You're calling follow-ups. You're calling, your existing clients. There's a lot of that with our program. But when you get your 100 leads right off the top, first couple of days, you're going to be so busy because you got 100 people to reach out to, and you're going to be pitching. That's a given. But after that first week, you're going to find that you went through the first set of contacts that answered the phone the first round, and you're going to find that there's a bunch of other people that you're still chasing. Well, those leads, after 48 hours in my book, they become old leads, okay? If you're buying leads and the leads are over 48 hours, look, in my book, those are old leads, okay? I mean, they are. They're calling on TV, Facebook, whatever. There's like a 48-hour window where it's fresh, where people they remember they called into the TV, the Facebook. Anything after 48 hours, I'm having to use a age lead approach with my lead, because chances are Miss Betty's not going to remember, or they're going to give me some kind of resistance. Okay, so now follow-up is king. And for today, when we get on the phone here today, we're not going to call fresh leads. Okay, I got fresh Facebook leads right now. We're not going to do that. I'm going to focus on the old stuff. Okay, because after a month of being with me, you're going into month 2 and I give you another 100, 200 fresh leads. Think of the 50 or 60 leads you weren't able to get a hold of in your first month. That's following through. You got to keep on top. You got to keep tabs on these people until they tell you, don't call me ever again, or we expire the 90-day period before we have to check the National Do Not Call Registry. So for today's purposes, okay, we're going to call old leads that are compliant for us to call. Why? Because those people, more than anything, need the information they requested. We send a video prior to us making a phone call. We send them a picture message, and then we follow up with a phone call. The reason we do the video and the picture message is because it really breaks the ice and it gives the client the visual of who they're dealing with. Just like when I used to sell door to door, I had some people that would say, well, Mr. Herrera, should I wear a polo and some shorts or a suit and tie? I would always push the suit and tie. I grew up with the mindset, my father would tell me, hey, just like a police officer wears his uniform, what does a businessman wear? A suit and tie. So wear a suit and tie, because that gives a good impression, right? Especially if you're in the front door, you're working in a bad neighborhood, knock on the door, Miss Betty looks through the window and sees you. Well, if she saw a Mexican dude in a polo and shorts, chances are maybe she might head over the door. I'm talking about, I'm working in Oakland, San Francisco's Mission District. I mean, this is the barrio, the hood. But I tell you what, if I showed up in my suits, my nice hanky, a nice clean suit, and they look through the window, they see me in my briefcase, they're not thinking nothing negative. They're thinking, you know what? This guy's either a religious man, law enforcement, or the insurance man. And immediately I was able to get past the gates. Well, over the phone, you send them a little video, you send them a picture message of yourself, and then follow it up with a phone call. It's going to do the same exact thing. Okay? So at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and turn the recording off now, and we're going to start pitching. And then after the recording, Paul and Shane, I'm going to ask you a very specific question, and that is, can you duplicate what you've seen here this morning?